coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. And birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. The front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Loose print smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awakened to lighten her load. America's awakened to lighten her load.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I turned the thing on. I didn't realize I didn't unmute. Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America. Uh, is what I was saying. I had to pour myself a fresh cup because mine was getting cold. I want to say good morning to Tammy and Nancy and AVA and vet firefighter and Joan and Gary and who else we got? Who else we got? That might be it for right now. Who's commenting? So good morning, you all. You bright and lovely people coming here to talk to Skipper, to be just a little bit smarter on the day's happenings. I've got a very high opinion of my show, my coffee stream. But I think I think some of the best ideas happen in the morning over coffee. I'm a morning person. I do my best work and my best thinking in the morning. If you're trying to ask me questions late in the day, yeah, it's just going to be a jumble. Hey, good morning, Larry. I watched Larry. He had a short yesterday about the ram on the hood of the Dodge Rams and how they took that off. And I agree with him. You know, those hood ornaments were, back in the day were really nice. I think they should bring some of those back. But I think it's a safety reason why they don't. Let me. Oh, I gotta retweet this out on X. I didn't do that. I didn't do that this morning. So right there, and then right there. Boom, 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 boom. So there. Okay, okay. We are. Oh, oh, okay. I got people following me that I've been following for a little bit. They finally followed me back. I get very frustrated when it's people I know that I follow on X and they don't follow me back. I'm like, hmm. Especially when I know I've sent them a thing and asked them. So I just had to approve someone in the ecosystem. Pretty much, I look for one thing. When someone's looking to join the ecosystem, I look for have they joined as a member? Only thing I'm looking for. Only thing. Um, I will put this up. So we did well. Actually, before I get into that, I'll say Paint Chips has joined the ecosystem as a member. He's fully welcome to. A lot of people were like, "No, we shouldn't let him in." No, I'll happily let him in as long as he submits to the rules. I don't think he will. So far, we haven't gone 24 hours yet, but so far he has followed the rules. Um, I just got a text that made me smile from my son. Love you. Can't wait to see you today. Always good to get that from your child. And he's a teenager, but we've normalized saying I love you to each other. Um, I'm glad that we do that. It wasn't something really that happened a lot when I was a kid. We didn't really say that. But, you know, me, I'm like, this is the way I want to parent, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people don't really think about the way they want to parent. But that's the way I want to. Um, I also, as a parent, I also always want to show my children respect. Always. I love you too, TC. Maybe that's how we should sign off the show uh instead of saying, thank you for being worth serving. Maybe I should be like, TC, I love you. Say it back. Don't make it weird. That's what John Breaks Bad News does, and he's hilarious. Seriously, go check out John Breaks Bad News. He's really funny. Um, but yeah, I don't think a lot of people think about that. I actively want to respect my child. And I retweeted a thing the other day of you can you can be friends with your children when they're young, or they're friends with your children when they're adults, not both. Um, I'm not, and I make it clear to my son, we are not friends. I am his dad, but I will treat him with respect, and I expect respect. And I don't think a lot of parents do that. I got a 16-year-old and 57 recently. I parent very different. Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of us in the Gen X generation, because we were kind of left to do our thing, and then we were, I think, the last generation that was really spanked, and uh, we were always wrong. That doesn't, just because I respect my kid doesn't mean If another adult tells me he does wrong, I believe him. Uh, I will take care of whatever issue it is, and I will hear him out. It doesn't mean I believe him because I was a kid at his age. I wouldn't have believed me, and my parents believed me, which is that was what was bad. You growling over there? Are the dogs out? I screwed my kids up like everything else. Kids are pretty resilient. I will say. Like I don't think my parents screwed me up. We have issues, and I think every family has issues. In fact, I was talking with um some people last night, and as I've moved off of a lot of my PTSD, when I talk with my therapist, now I'm to the point where I'm analyzing family dynamics and you know n- not so many current things. There's a couple current things, but I'm already like when my therapist asked me, well, how are you going to react to that? And I said, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. And she's like, you're really advanced. And I'm like, well, because it's I learned a lot reading The Art of War. If you get your OODA loop, as I've talked about on here, orient, observe, decide, and act. If you go through that faster than the other person, you can react to things in a better way because you've already thought out the process. And I'm looking at a situation that I'm going to come up with that's going to be it's going to be a very, I don't want to say difficult, but uncomfortable situation with family members. So I'm already going through my head, okay, when this happens, I'm going to do this. When this happens, I'm going to do this. And I have family members who are gonna put me in a position that I don't want to be in. And I was told I was mean the other day, which I still love. I love you, bestie. Georgie's in the chat. She told me I was mean the other day. And I'm not mean, I'm direct. I'm not going out of my way to be nasty or rude, but I will tell people, hey, you're wrong for doing this. This is what the problem is. I'll say stuff like that. And the Marine Corps really did a good job of making me active aggressive and very direct. You can tell me that I'm rude. I'll listen to you. I'm not gonna rosy things up. I'm you Well, someone called me or called me mean and then you repeated it. We'll say that. And people are very passive aggressive. That's why they view me as mean. But I'm gonna deal with the situation coming up. Okay, yeah, friend of ours said I was mean. Hey, Coop, good morning. But I'm not mean. I am not mean. But I will say this: uh, I will not stray away from uncomfortable situations. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable, and someone is, uh, I believe, going to put me in an uncomfortable position, put me around people that I've said I do not want to be around that person. Like, I give people. It is very hard that if someone does something to me, it is very hard for me to say, I'm done with that person when they're doing it to me. When they do it to someone else, someone I care about, then it's very easy to me. And there's someone who's doing things that I don't think are healthy. It initially affected me. And here's the thing, I was willing to let it go, and the red flags were waving. Okay. And uh, I'll straight up tell you, this person who I have no strong connection to did a background check on me. Yeah. Like, and I'm maybe gonna see this person a handful of times a year, and I'm like, that's really weird. That's really weird. I could understand if I were dating that person, you know? In that case, oh, yeah, do a background check. But this is no one I'm seeking out to have any type of social relationship with. It's just because they are in the vicinity of someone else that I do have a relationship with. They did a background check on me. Like, I don't even want to be in your life that much. So that was the first red flag. And since then, they've been causing drama with people I do care about. And I've stated to people, I don't want to be around that person. Like I am now to the point where um that person like I don't want to say they're dead to me. I just like if they came up and said, "Hey, good morning, how are you?" I would just stare at them. Like it's literally that point. And I have communicated my boundary to people who I do have relationships with. But I know these people, and they in the past have ignored what I've said and crossed my boundaries. And uh, we are planning an event. I'll say that much. And I'm going to it. And I've said, look, I've already told you I don't want to be around that person. And I don't want to see them, don't want to talk to them. I don't like there will never be a relationship. Like even a passing I just it's me. Nope. Like do something to me. Yeah, you'll probably get a second chance. Do it to someone I care about. No. Now you're done. But with me, they had already showed me the red flags and I was always like I was already like, "Oh, yeah. No. I don't think I'm doing this." But um I've communicated my boundaries, and that's what I was talking with my therapist about. And she was like, "Okay, what are you going to do if they show?" And I said, "Well, uh, I am going to leave." And she was like, "Why? Why would you not tell the people, you know, hey, I told you I didn't want that person?" I go, "Because I know what their answer is going to be. Their answer is going to be, this is happening on my property, and they're my guest." And and I'm gonna say, "Okay, yeah, that's fair. This is your property. I don't have to be a part of it. So if that's the people you want, I am out. So you're making a choice here. I've told you I didn't wanna be around that person. So if you're making this choice, I am making this choice. And, I will then go to a place where I can control who, what, where I'm going to associate with." And, it is the people holding the event are gonna be upset by it. But I've already communicated my boundary. I'm gonna do it again. And I'm make it very clear. If this individual shows up, I'm gone. I'm not sticking around. This is not a cute situation to me because with these people, they have um oh, I'm not even gonna talk to this person if they show up. Like if I'm serious. I will never talk to that person. I will treat them like the Amish do when someone leaves the community. They are shunned. Like and it's not a shunning like Dwight from the office. Shh, unshun, shun. Like it's that was always funny. But no, I am not going to talk to that person. Um they're very unhealthy. There's clearly mental issues and they are putting someone who I really do care about into legal jeopardy. And a lot of these cases that we've been following, you're seeing people who will involve themselves inappropriately. And this is that type of a person. Um, I don't wanna get too far down, but this is someone who has done things and thought they were doing thought they were being sneaky about it, and that's their justification is, "Oh, well, I did this anonymously. I don't give a shit. You stuck your nose where it didn't belong. I'm done with you." And, so I'm seeing that type of stuff. So, I'm yeah, I would never want to be associated with that person. Never. And, um, it's because I can see where they're gonna hurt people that I care about. And these people that I care about, I'm expressing that to them, and they're not listening to me. And that's okay. They can they don't have to listen to me. But I also am not gonna enable their bad decisions. I'm not gonna be a part of it. So I'm making it very clear that, hey, if this person shows up, I'm leaving. Um, and me being at that event is a much bigger deal than that person. I'll say that. But that's not what I'm doing that for. I just no. And it's funny because I had a discussion with my brother who's getting married, um, about his wedding, which is a totally separate event. Um, and it's funny because we were talking about what they want for their wedding, and it's funny how people who people whose wedding it is, they always have huge opinions. That always fascinates me. People who always want to involve themselves in weddings. It's like that's the married couple's wedding. That's that's them. It's about them. So it was just funny because I talked to my therapist about one, and then we talked to my brother about the other. Um, but I always find it so interesting when families do stuff like that. And here's the thing. I don't wish that I'm reading Nancy's comment here. I don't wish that individual any ill will. It's just they are they have a mental issue. I don't know what it is, but it's some type of mental issue, and they're doing things that are not healthy that are going to affect others. If you want to hurt yourself, like I had a good friend of mine who was really deep into drugs for a while, and I still kept uh cruise ship mama. Uh they were doing things in their life that just weren't healthy, but I still maintained a relationship with them. And my ex was like, "Were you on the phone with him?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Isn't he into drugs?" I'm like, "Yeah, he is." And it's really sad. And she was like, "Why would you still talk with him?" I'm like, "Well, first off, he lives on the other side of the country. And uh so I don't have to deal with the fallout of his drug use. His family does, and it's a real shame." And I said, "But I'm still going to be a friend to him because eventually he's going to hit a rock bottom and he's going to need people to help lift him up." And sure enough, he did. And I can say very thankfully, he has cleaned himself up and is doing very well. He has a child. He is married, all since he got himself sober, and I'm glad that I was always there and that I could support him in whatever way I could. No, it's not TC. Absolutely, Larry. Uh, but you know, but my ex wanted me to like cut him off, and I was like, no. But also, my ex, she was an abuser, and part of what she wanted to do was to isolate me, and that's why she was always telling me to cut people off for very small and dumb transgressions. And I do that with quotes because a lot of the stuff that she was upset about weren't even, in my opinion, transgressions. They were just things that happened. Right, Jeff? And there are people like that. Like I served, and I'll say this: I served under Obama, I served under Bush, and I served under Trump. Uh, I'm very proud that the political situation never changed the way I served. It frustrated me sometimes, but it never changed. I always, my duty was always to the country, and but our military especially is under civilian control, and there's so many people who have a problem with that today. You could have a problem with the civilian in control leader, but the people chose him for that role. And these military generals and whatnot who want to speak against him are wrong. They are wrong. Our founding fathers, you go back and you read the Federalist, the Federalist Papers, you go back and read the debates they had, they wanted civilian control over the military. They did not want a military dictator. They were very clear about that. And any of these generals who are speaking out against the civilian leadership are 100% wrong. If they retire and then speak out, God bless you. But while you're serving, no, you do not speak out against the civilian leadership, especially in that uniform. Yeah, yeah, I dealt with that too, Gary. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Isn't it funny how the biggest abusers play victim, Native? And that's exactly how these people are. Like, and the thing is, that's why there will be no discussion. Like, I am done with this individual. And it's there will be no discussion. I'm not going to have the back and forth. And already it's been hinted at that there should be a sit down. No, there will be no sit down. No, I have made my decision. I am done. And especially um, when it involves my family members. Like, no, I'm done. But I just know that passive aggressive. Well, this is my property. This is my place. So I can invite who I want. Oh, yeah, you can. And I am now leaving. You can have whoever you want, but you made this choice. I told you. I communicated this is my boundary. And we'll see. We'll see. They might surprise me. I will always give people an opportunity to surprise me. But my OODA loop, I've already gone through. Okay, if this happens, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave and I will uh, find other things that I can do. And the thing is, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with my decision. And that's if that scenario plays out, there's going to be a fallout, but the fallout's going to be first it'll be they're gonna tell me, no, I can have who I want at my place. Okay. Then the next thing is gonna be like, well, can't we just sit down? No. Then it'll be, um, well, you don't have the right to do this. I have the right to go where I feel to. And then it'll be, okay, it, it it won't be an apology. It'll be, okay, well, that person's gone now. I can already I've been through these scenarios enough in the past, uh, and it's funny because people go through cycles. They go through mental cycles, and I'm already no, I'll have a I can have a good enough time doing my own thing, and there's people I can see who will respect my boundaries. Oh god, I was the talk of the fleas and the gnats. What are they saying? I'm sure they're very upset over there is something I want to get into. Um, where's that here? There we go. Uh, so I'm sure they're very upset about this. So they made public posts in that case saying that so the what's happened is the federal magistrate, I don't know if it's by his request or if he's been ordered to step aside, but um he's no longer presiding over the case. And there was a motion that he put a show cause order out that was kind of remnants from when he was still in it, but it got published yesterday or 2 days ago, sorry. And the fleas had made posts saying, no, because Jeremy did a post and said, hey, the federal judge is now taking over. If you told them up front you don't want some to be around someone and they don't tell you ahead of time, I would be upset with that person. Oh, I absolutely will be. I absolutely will be. Um, but here's the thing: they will be more upset when I disengage, Nancy. They will when I leave. They will be more upset. Uh, and I'll just for me, it's I've told you this was my decision, and you didn't respect my decision, and I'm not going to change. But yeah, Jeremy said, "Hey, the district judge is taking over from the magistrate," and they made a post and said, "No, he's lying." Well, here we have this right here is from uh, the court case. Judge, federal district judge Robert J. Hinkle. It is no longer uh, Judge Belitho. So, family dynamics is a weird thing. Personally, never had issues. However, as a family, we have different outlooks on things, but still got along fine. It's those outside that the family cause drama. True, true. But I'll say this. Um, I'll say this. Uh, there are people who are people pleasers out there, and they will get pressured by others to do things, and it, that's a, that is a hard thing. I used to be a pleaser when, and that was a very big wake up call being in the military because you can't please everybody and fulfill the mission. So very quickly, I became active aggressive. Um, and people pleasing is very passive aggressive. It is. Uh, that's okay, darling. I appreciate you. Even the people, if you're watching this on replay, I appreciate you so much because in some ways that's even harder to watch it on replay because it's in the past. Will I be able to join Coop and Georgie today? Yes, I can. Yes, the Judge Betholio is off the case. It is now going in front of the federal judge. And I believe that is because of what paint chips. I I didn't read your full message, and plus our audience here should know that I'm going to be on your show because then they'll follow. Obviously, they like Skipper. We have a lot of crossover audience. Um, I don't think TC watches Georgie and Coop because Georgie and Coop talk about topics that TC's not interested in. So that's probably the only person who doesn't follow over. But I don't know. We got people on X right now. How many people are on X? Okay, we got about 20 people over on X watching. Welcome, welcome if you're watching us on X. Um, and we got a big chunk. We got a good mix watching here today. We got people on Rumble, people on Facebook, people on X, people on YouTube. So thank you, all of you. Uh, but yeah, people pleasing is it is a mental issue. It is a mental issue. Um, because it will cause you to put yourself second. And I'm okay putting myself second to an extent. But I've learned, hey, everyone gets a couple shots with me. You get a couple shots, and I can forgive. But you do something to someone I care about. Oh, you have now shot every shot. I will protect more than anything else. And a part of me has always been that way. David Wainwright is coming in from London. Oh, you know what I need? I need the Werewolves of London. Oh, Werewolves of London. Welcome, welcome. I've been here, fine city. Hope to go again. Um, in fact, I'm going to Greece this summer, and from LA flying to Greece is that's a haul. So I've talked to the little man, and I said, "How about we stop on a way?" And I suggested 3 cities. I suggested London, Dublin, and New York City. And, he's down with any of them, whichever one we choose. Paint Chips well, Paint Chips is in the group, so if you wanna tell him that, you can come in the group and tell him that. It's because if Bolfo did anything against Luffman, he could say it was retaliation. Yep, yeah, I think Luffman using the magistrate in his recent filing was absolutely over the line, and now the federal judge is going to come in. And again, it's about making it appeal proof. Yep, that TC doesn't care about the Jeremy Hills case, and that's what we normally talk about uh, on a Coop and Georgie show. But it's not going to go for forever. It'll go a long time. Federal cases take a long time, but yeah, I'm laughing that the other thing the fleas are doing. So they said, "Oh, the magistrate hasn't been replaced." Well, now we have in the federal thing, we have proof. So I posted that, and I'm sure they're talking about that. I'm curious what else are they saying about me. I always find it very amusing. I think people are more concerned about the child than JH. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. People are. I know that's I I found the Jeremy Hale stuff amusing, but for about 6 months of following it, I didn't talk about it on the show because it was stupid at that point. It was just stupid YouTube drama. I'll watch it. I'll find it amusing. But when it really started ramping up with the child, that's when I was like, okay, yeah. The government, actually, no, it was the government first, and then the child. Um, but we didn't. When I started talking about with the government, we didn't know all the stuff about the child. It had been talked about, but I never had seen really concrete proof. But then when, they went to save Lloyd, I saw concrete proof, and I was like, "Okay, now it's crossing a line I need to, you know, address," I guess you could say. The stream off Lauren from Hidden True Crime today about her stalker. It's crazy. No, but definitely share that with me, Laura, if you can. I'd be interested in that. And TC's got a big case. And so TC has a case where and I know I'm going to screw this up, TC, where a sheriff's deputy caused a car crash and it paralyzed a young man. And that young man, like they blamed the young man for the crash. And like now um there's other departments involved. And with well, a lot of the stories that we do together, TC, are not stories that will pull in a lot of people, but it's still important that we do them. Because even if we only get 10 views, okay, to that person, those 10 views are huge. It shows just doing the story is important because it shows the victims that they have a voice and that people are listening. And that's why I'll do stories that won't get me any views. I happily will do them. If it's someone being victimized, and I'll tell you the one we want to talk about again, and I've offered her this platform, is Katie Eilers. She's being abused by the VA and by VA employees. Uh, she's got a legal thing happening, and I've told her, "S- look, you can start publishing your little videos and everything on Veteran Nation. I have an audience. I have an audience, and you do too, TC. And that's what people hate. And I've come across that so much this year. In the last 12 months, people hate that I have an audience and that I will talk about things. They hate that I am working with other YouTubers, not just TC and not just AVA, but I'll work with other YouTubers who have a voice. And, that's the thing. They want you silenced. But even the videos that don't get, we should get Katie on Unexplained. Oh yeah, we can ask her happily. Um, but with what's happening to her, it's complete BS. What's happening to Tommy Karate? BS. And Tommy Karate, he has launched his Rumble. I did post it in the ecosystem. I got to find out from when he's planning on putting out a show. But I've been giving him a lot of very good advice for starting off his show. Um, y- he's been very thankful, but you know, and I've told you my goal is to get AVA and Tommy and Katie all in front of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. I want to get them in Washington D.C. talking about their cases. That is my goal, and it's good for me to say that, and for you all in the audience to know that is my goal, because that means you can help me work together with them and know that that's what we want to do. Randy filed his 90-day report on BK. Who's BK? I'm drawing a blank. I did see Randy filed his response to Stupid Dave. I did see that. And I think that's what they want, what we might read today. And I'll say this, something I predicted has come true. And I've got other predictions. I'm predicting that there's going to be a gag order in the Jeremy Hells case. She doesn't want the child on YouTube. She should give her up to be placed with a good family who won't exploit her for her money. The problem is, and Jeremy did a post about it this morning. about someone who had donated the Afghan, and it's being sold at the flea market. And I said this back in either May or June that she was selling stuff from the flea market, and a lot of the anti people came after me. But now you have someone from their thing saying, "You like I'm seeing it. You have it for sale. I gave that to the child, for the child, and you're selling it." That's always what they were doing. They were always scamming, and the anti group is enablers. They're enabling. The bankruptcy, yeah, Jeremy did talk about the bankruptcy and that he doesn't care if the bankruptcy goes through. And I understand he's not getting any money out of her. Uh, he knows that. But the bankruptcy will, if any money donated, he can say, "Oh, hey, there was this money donated. We need a full accounting." Absolutely. And if there's a full accounting, Felisa has to show receipts. And any receipts, guess what? Embezzlement. There was a time when larger agencies didn't attempt cover-ups of interagency wrongdoings. Um, mm, I think it was actually worse. I think we, I think there's so much of it now, Jeff, because we now have transparency and sunshine laws where it's harder to hide these things. I think there was actually more corruption back in the day. It's just there were less ways to hide it. And that's because I say that because I've studied several things in history. There were several scandals along the way. Some of those scandals, you can tell things for a long time had been swept under the rug. Absolutely, David. Absolutely. Going through, I'm looking for a couple things here. Randy filed in the bankruptcy. I mean, they're smart too. Randy's a smart lawyer. And Bruce has had, Deuce has had the worst strategy. And that's why I'm laughing about paint chips coming in. Like, people are like, Don't let him in the group." No, I'm letting him in the group. He's just gonna shoot himself in the foot. It's just gonna be, and he's already started it. Like, but I'm also laughing at people's response to him. Like, they are right in his face calling him a piece of shit. Oh, and I love that uh that Paint Chips is now a quote unquote journalist. It's like, and here's the thing: do you have, like, I've got my degree in journalism? Do you have to be trained to be a journalist? No, anyone can. Anyone can report on news. Anyone can. But there are things that you should probably learn, like copyright law. That side, they still do not understand copyright law. Not at all. Uh, not enough coffee for today. Um, you just reminded me. There, Kiefer Sutherland, um, has a band, and he had a single, and the single itself wasn't that bad. Uh, but it was called "Not Enough Whiskey in the World." Um, and he did a whole, like, he was out. I found out about because he actually out here. I think he came to Joshua Tree. It's been a couple years. He filmed the music video, and he's a country singer. Kiefer Sutherland is. So yeah, you should check out uh, that song. Not enough whiskey. Corruption, yes, but agency cooperation, no. It ebbs and flows. It does ebb and flow. Trump exposed a lot of corruption, especially within the Department of Justice. A lot of corruption. Just by existing, Trump exposed that. I don't think Trump actually like had like a task force or anything like that. Just by just the whole Russia collusion crossfire hurricane that exposed a lot of corruption in the FBI. Um, to a point, I agree with you, TC. Especially they do nothing to fight it now. Uh, that is why body cams and public records requests, why they are so important. Look at Jeremy Hale's case has exposed corruption. The sheriff in Summit County was working with Robbie, a felon, a federal felon, to avoid service in a federal case. I made an FBI complaint about that because the police should not be working with anyone but victims. That's the only person they should work with. What is Robbie a victim of? Nothing. He knew there was a case. His wife knew there was a case. The song's about Lisa. That's funny. Yeah, everybody definitely check out uh TC's stuff. Because he does do good work. He does very good work. Right, David? That's funny. And I do want to say something. If you guys send me stuff during the day and I don't respond, it does not mean I didn't look at it. I've looked at I've had a lot of people reach out um and send me stuff, and I need to do a better job just acknowledging. In fact, there, I'm acknowledging a couple right now. The who was it? The fleas also were um they were telling people to copyright strike Megan. And good luck with that. Good fucking luck with that because you can't do a third party copyright strike. Can't do it. Only the copyright holder. And here's why. Because me as a copyright holder, someone can send me an email and say, "Hey, can I use your video?" And I could say, "Sure." And then one of you guys can say they're using Skipper stuff. I'm going to report it. YouTube has no clue if there's a relationship. That's why YouTube does not take third party copyright. If someone's using your copyright and you um, did not give them permission, it is up to you to do the copyright strike. Only the copyright holder can do it. But here's the thing: fair use applies. They have no understanding of fair use, and they I went on to they were live streaming, so I took their chat and I live streamed that because the chat see, I put the chat up on my screen, okay? Because now you're a part of the video. So this makes it my intellectual property. If someone screenshots this chat and you can see like my background and stuff like that, that is my intellectual property. Now, if someone goes down into the chat bar and they screenshot that with the YouTube background, that is your intellectual property. Your comments are your intellectual property. And so I can't copyright strike that. And here's the thing, because you're making the comments publicly, I don't know if you could have an effective copyright claim. I don't know if you could. So that's why I showed the YouTube chat message. It's also why you guys are learning. It's why Skipper puts the chat up here. The other thing is because transparency. In a year from now, if someone wanted to go back to this, um, and see, hey, I think so and so said something. You'll be able to find out what they said. The other thing is if I if I don't put a comment on screen, it, I'm trying to keep myself to, if you send me a super chat, you get up on screen, and if you don't, even it's got to be a really great comment for me to put it up on screen. So that's kind of like the rules I'm developing for what it takes for a chat to be highlighted down below. But if I do call out your comment, I want people to know what I'm talking about. It's a context issue. So that's what I'm trying to do um, with that. But if they take screenshots of this and use it, I'm I'll be able to copyright strike. And there are people out there who hide their live chat, and it actually is counter to them, in my opinion. But they can do what they want. In my county now, there's a video of a deputy chief of police acting a fool in a convenience store, arguing with a teen, and starts throwing product at him. Yeah, we're gonna do Veteran Nation Unexplained this weekend. Thank you, TC. So I we were gonna do it this last weekend, but as you guys saw, I had to babysit, and it's been a long time since Skipper had preschoolers in his house, and I don't have enough toys, and I don't have like I don't have neighborhood kids around here to where I can be like, "I'll go outside, play with the neighborhood kids." I can't do that here. Um, so there was no way I was gonna be able to effectively run a show. I don't even think I could have uh just been a guest on the show. Yeah, Jeff, send us the stuff. Um, oh, Jeremy just came out with a video, and this is not Jeremy's time. Is this a short? No, it's his episode. It's out early. Oh, no, 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 this is yesterday. Why did I just not see? Okay, no, Jeff, he does not have a new thing out. I just got the notification for it. YouTube is so weird. So weird. That's why I tell people, even if you don't watch me on Rumble, subscribe to me on Rumble. Um, because then at least you'll get the notifications in a timely manner. And here you guys just saw, I've got notifications turned on for Jeremy, but I really don't need them. It's primarily for when he puts out a short, uh, because he puts out his videos at the same time every day. Two local auditors have been covering it. If you can, let us know the auditors, because we like promoting other channels too. We will support other people. There's a big problem in the auditor community where a lot of people, they get into auditing, to me, for the wrong reasons. Um, they get into it to be antagonistic many times. There's a there's a there's a healthy thing for healthy antagonism. There is. What is Rumble? It's like YouTube. It's it's like YouTube, just not as big. Um, and the other thing good about that Rumble does real good, locals is kind of like Twitter or X, and it's owned by Rumble, so there's good integration between the two. So that was one thing when I was advising Tommy about his show, I was like, dude, go on to Rumble. You'll be monetized right off the bat. So he's like, he sent me a thing. He's done like two videos. He's like, I made 9 cents. I'm like, yeah, it's not a big payout, but when you start getting this, if you build up money, you'll be, you know, you'll get monetized there and start making money way before you would YouTube. And I said, use your Rumble to drive your YouTube. Put your do your live shows on Rumble, and then take the recording of them, put them on YouTube, and until you get to a certain point. So I advised him that, but he's already big on X, and I was like, if you weren't on X, I would tell you to start a locals, and because then you can there's like seamless integration between the two. Uh, I always get notices for DUI shorts within a minute. Yeah, it's weird the way YouTube works. Um, I do follow DUI guy. I don't think I have notifications on. Um, yeah, I follow him, and I actually no, I do get notifications for him now that I'm thinking because he does pop up in my notifications thing. Um, but there are people in the auditing community, and this is what I was saying that are they're in it for what I think is the wrong reasons, and then after they start doing it, they want money. Uh, but in many cases, legitimately so because now they have legal battles. And I would, if you don't have the income, I would not really get into auditing. I really wouldn't. Like I've gotten involved in legal battles. I've been attacked live on camera. Uh, that was not me auditing. In fact, in the one case where I was attacked over my service dog, and you guys should check out that video. It's like a 2 hour long video, but like you can watch the whole thing. But I turned on a Facebook Live because I didn't have Restream then. Um, so but I just knew I needed to record because they had denied me. I went into a restaurant. My intent was just to get food to go and go back to my office, and I went there and they wouldn't serve me because the guy was telling me that my dog wasn't allowed there and he wanted to see papers and there are no papers for a service dog. So I was trying to explain that and he was like, I'm calling the sheriff. And I said, okay, you can call the sheriff. And I stood there. He called the sheriff and I said, well, you've called the sheriff. Now I can't leave. I'm not going to flee the police. So I'm going to have a seat. And the only way I'll leave is if you serve me. So I had a seat and I just started doing a live. And I had people in there who were watching me live. And, I'm talking to my audience, and it's just me on camera. Yeah, people could walk behind me and stuff, but my intent was me. And I did that on purpose because a lot of auditors, they're doing this and they're pointing cameras at other people. And I don't get why people have this belief that you can't film me without my permission. You're in public. Like, if there's one thing we need to educate people on, it's that when you're in public, there are cameras on you. There's security cameras on you. There are people recording their phones. But I'm when I do stuff, and TC pretty much does this too. Like when I'm filming me, and I'll be doing a live stream on me because when I'm doing that, um, then clearly my intent is to get me. But there are people because when people think you're recording them, they'll immediately go very violent or just be incredibly upset. So I'm filming me. If you walk in the shot, you walk in the shot. And that's the way that goes. So that's what that's what I'm very cognizant of. Um, uh, uh, so yeah, that's what I do. But a lot of auditors don't do that. They are showing other people. Amagansett Press. Oh, I love them. I love him and watching The Watchmen. I do love those two. Uh, uh, Mr. Gutterman and he's done things in my area. I wish I knew when he doesn't tell people, but I would love to run into those two. But I think they're very effective. I love his videos with Alec Baldwin, and I'll just say this: I hate Alec Baldwin. That dude is a complete and total piece of shit. And that's what I think got Gutterman into auditing was he had a video where he was out on the thing and Alec Baldwin was, they lived in the same town. Because Alec Baldwin, he's from Long Island, still has a home in, is it Levittown? I think. But uh, pretty much came up and was threatening Amagansett Press. And this was like 6 years ago. And uh, Jason didn't back down. And good on him. Good on him. Because Baldwin has a history of way before Rust. He's got a history of getting physically violent with people who are not doing anything violent. And he should have been I'm so pissed that that prosecutor screwed up that case. He should have done time. He was responsible. He was the executive producer on that. Him and every other executive producer should have been convicted of manslaughter because they were responsible ultimately for the safety on that set. And the one girl that did get convicted, yeah, she should have been convicted, but she should not have been the fall guy. It should have been a group of them, and that was bullshit. That was complete and total bullshit. Which I do have on veterationfoundation.com. I do have an Alec Baldwin shirt. Here, let me pull that. I called him Old Bullseye Baldwin. Where's it at? It's here we go. Let me share this with you guys. It's funny. Yeah, the shirt is called Baldwin's Justice, and there it is, and it says comply, and he's got the teardrop tattoo. And it says, show every outlaw in your town that we ain't shooting blanks. Oh my God, I love it. I should do one where it says, my car, and then instead of saying my car shit the bed, it should say my car, picture of Amber Heard, the bed. You think Tug would enjoy that? If I made that, I should buy him one and send it. Too funny. Donald Trump is Jesus Christ. I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think Donald Trump is the chainsaw when everyone else wants to use a scalpel. And good, because the people who should have been cutting away at things for years, they didn't want to cut. Oh God. New filings. Okay, yeah, there's new filings in Fed 2. Okay. Oh, this this is the bankruptcy. You're funny when you laugh at your own terrible humor. That is true. But I forget who the one comedian was. He's like, if I find it funny, I know there's someone else out there who's going to find it funny. Maybe not a lot of people, but someone else will. I hope that's not coffee you're drinking. It is coffee, but there's nothing like I add sweetener to it, not sugar. Um, and yeah, I do. I In the mornings I'll drink my coffee. Maximum I'll drink is about a pot, but I most days it's like 2 or 3 cups, and then the rest of the day I drink water. And I try to drink at least. I'm in the desert. I try to drink at least a gallon of water every single day. In fact, I have a big gallon milk jug that I fill with water. and that's what I use for my water. So I can know I'm drinking a gallon of water because coffee is a diuretic, but coffee is very good for amino acids and stuff like that. The filing is just updating the courts on the status of the bankruptcy. Okay. Red Skelton. Is that who said that? I thought I heard another comedian say that. I appreciate your comment, Messenger 911. I do. I really do. And that was a comment on Rumble that he put. Always happy to get always happy to get people and commenters and chat commenters and people watching on Rumble. And here's the other thing. The um like it is easier to get suspended on YouTube than it is Rumble. That's why I'm laughing about the fleas, their triumphant return um to YouTube. They could get so much done on Rumble that they can't do on YouTube. They can get away with a lot more there. Okay. I'm familiar with Red Skelton. I haven't gone down the rabbit hole on him. I watch a lot of that old stuff. I love that old stuff. That's why, like a week ago, I was watching a lot of stuff about Jack Parr, and I wish he was still alive because I can see why. Like Steve Allen was a known name, so when he did the Tonight Show, it was big because it was Steve Allen. But then Jack Parr took it over, and I think Jack Parr really made the Tonight Show the Tonight Show. Johnny Carson took it over for him after Jack Parr he had walked off at one point and then came back and uh, when he announced he was leaving, they did like I know Groucho Marx and a couple other people came in and kind of hosted it. But really, the way the Tonight Show is, like if you watch the Steve Allen Tonight Show, it was way different than Jack Parr. But from Jack Parr on, it kind of took a formula, and a really good formula. And I really watching a couple of the interviews that are available because not they didn't tape all the stuff back then for the Jack Parr show or the Tonight Show with Jack Parr. Um, so there's not a lot available. Um, but it was really interesting. And I went down the rabbit hole on Jack Parr, and he did one interview on David Letterman when David Letterman was still at NBC, and they walked around the backstage. And he goes, I've never won an award. He goes, but I was given this by a young man who went on to be very successful. And he goes, it's still here and I still appreciate it. And they opened up this service closet that was in like their green room, and in the service closet, the pipes had all been painted uh, to look like characters, and at the bottom was a thank you to Hugh Downs and Jack Parr for having him on the show, and it was done by a very young Jim Henson in like 1964, like 10 years, almost 10 years before the Muppet Show and Sesame Street ever got big. So, um, was really interesting. And I like that stuff. And down here in Palm Springs, I used to be a member of the American Legion in Palm Springs. And if you're ever coming through Palm Springs, check it out. Um, it's the old USO hall, but up on the stage is they now do they do ham radio broadcasts, but that's an old sound booth. And Jack Benny and Bob Hope, back during World War II, when Patton was out in this area, and they would do USO dances, they would bus in the service guys from like Desert Center and up here in 29 Palms. They'd bus them all to Palm Springs, and the girls would be there ready to dance with them. And they would have a band on stage, and Jack Benny and Bob Hope would do their shows from that USO hall, and was pretty cool, a very cool thing. because that's still there, and uh, the American Legion still has that hall, and they still run it, and it's some really cool Palm Springs history. George Burns, I love George Burns. Gracie Allen, I'd seen a little bit of their stuff, but I watch all that old Hollywood stuff. I really liked a lot of that stuff, and I like learning about it. And that's why, like, when I do my newsreels, that's why I'm doing Walter Winchell. Like, it's very much a copy of Walter Winchell. There's a little bit of a couple other people in there, but for the most part, it's me talking about Walter Winchell, which is an interesting guy to read about. Um, so yeah, I am looking at the time. Are they live yet? So go to Veteran Nation Foundation and get yourself a Alec Baldwin t-shirt. Okay, they are not live yet. And let me go and I'll make sure I'm redirecting to them. I'll stay on until they come on, and I'll do the short exit. Um, I'll do the 15-second outro. There we go. And there's the redirect. We got to search through the videos. Megan Fox is live right now. And here's the thing. When people, I know there's people out there who are like, don't promote other streams because you'll lose your audience. They'll go to those other streams. Here's the thing. If you want to go watch someone else, come back and watch my replay. In some ways, that is better because if you watch my replay rather than it live, that is telling YouTube that, hey, this is good content. And it puts that replay in front of more people. So I get why people do it. I'm not saying that they're wrong or anything. They're just running their channels the way they want to run their channels. But if you leave to watch someone else's stuff, all I ask is you just come back and you either come back to the stream while we're still live streaming, or you watch the replay. I'll be incredibly thankful. Oh no, it's good because normally I'd be wrapped up by now, but with George and Coop not being live yet, I'll keep talking about whatever. And we're still on other platforms, not just YouTube. Yeah, we got 30 people watching on X. So, you know, happy to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. That's the good thing about me doing the coffee stream is I can I can take cues from you guys. I did this show for several years of all just videos where I did some lives, but videos, and that's interesting that they closed those while they were on a naval air base because they um, probably didn't have to pay a lot in land. Here in 29 Palms, they did have to close the American Legion. There is still an American Legion group here, but they don't have a Legion Hall. And as you guys know, I'm looking to do the coffee shop, and I've talked to, unfortunately, one of the guys involved is in China right now. So w- right now there's no movement on the coffee shop, but I did say if we buy the land, if we buy the land I want, we're getting several acres. And one thing I said we should do is take a small part of it. We're buying all these trailers, you know, for what we want to do for the coffee shop. I'm like, look, if we can buy one, let's buy another one. And what I would do is go to those guys and be like, look, we'll give you this trailer, we'll give you the land. You have to, you got to pay for your water, you got to pay for your electricity, but we will give you pretty much a $0 or $1 a year lease, okay? Uh, s so that you can have take that trailer and actually have a Legion Hall. Bec They keep asking the local government here for one, and I've talked to the people in the local government, and they're like, "We don't wanna be anywhere involved with it." Because if we start giving them space in our government facilities, then we actually do have to give it to other groups, and w- those other groups we might not agree with. So I do know the local American Legion here is very upset that they can't use the government facilities, but I understand why. Because once you give it to one, you have to give it to all. And if you don't want to give your hall to the uh, you know to the local Satanist, then you can't give it to, uh, you can't give it to these other groups to use for free. Everyone has to be treated equally under the law. So I totally agree with that. Our local city government is correct. Um, but, but as a private individual, if we do, and I'd work something out with our our American Legion, be like, no, you have to pay you have to pay your own insurance. Like we would have things written in the lease, so there's no or very little liability on our end. But I'd say, no, you can do these things, but um, if you do these things, like we're gonna have some control, but we'll happily give you somewhere to operate at a very low cost. Oh, it's still saying that they're waiting. Yeah, Georgie and Coop are still waiting. They're not live, so don't know. You can. I've got it up here, Jessica. They're when they go live, I'll end this. A lot of history in your sleepy little town. Yeah, yeah. There is here too. Um, Jared Leto. This is his favorite place to vacation. In fact, he started his own skincare line called 29 Palms. Um, and one of the big places where celebrities go is actually not far. Like I could walk to it. It'd be a long walk, but I could walk to it. It'd probably take me about 45 minutes to walk to it. But driving, I can be there in less than a minute. But it's right down the street. And but yeah, we get a lot of celebrities who come out here um, because there's not a lot of people, so they can. Yeah, people recognize them, but they can walk around and kind of just be themselves. Kanye, he's got a place out here. Every This is like the time of year that I'll start seeing him out here. Um, so yeah, in fact, he built a huge compound out this way, and uh, but there's also old Hollywood stuff. I'm trying to find James Cagney used to have a little, really little um, cabin out here where he would come just to paint. And I want to find that. My mom really wants to see it too. iFit is moving from Utah to Ohio, so my hubby is going to be unemployed, and I don't qualify for SSDI, and a small amount of Social Security just barely covers the bills. Um, hmm, that's interesting that they would move from Utah to Ohio. My understanding is Utah is growing. I know Ohio is starting to grow. For a long time, Ohio was shrinking, but Ohio kind of got smart and started giving some new tax breaks. And Ohio, I can say for sure, is growing. In fact, uh, in the next census, if current trends hold, Ohio will not lose any more electoral college votes. I don't know if it'll grow, but I know it's not going to lose anymore. Um, I'm trying to think. But here's the thing with with that, try to think of the way to make money is just to think through things. Um, read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. That changed um my outlook on money. Um, and that's why I'm doing businesses now, is because, you know, at least then I can control things. Like if I need to turn things down, I can. If I need to turn things up, I can. Um, so yeah, that's the thing about that. I would look at, hey, what can I do? Like I've got a friend who's on SSDI and is on makes limited amount of money. I hear you're looking to buy a cabin in the Toledo Strip. Um, no, I might go back to. So there's actually two Toledo strips. There's the Toledo Strip, which is the northwest Ohio. Like there's like a 5 mile strip that was over the Toledo War, where Michigan and Ohio battled over it. Um, and I grew up in Toledo, so but I don't see myself moving back to Toledo. I might visit, but I don't see myself ever moving back to Northwest Ohio. Um, but there's also a Toledo strip down in Louisiana, Texas. It's not Texarkana, but it's close. So there's that too. Um, yeah, I don't know if I could. I'm visiting Mississippi and Louisiana for the first time in 2 weeks, so that will be interesting. I will be in New Orleans for Halloween. We're going to be down at the French Quarter. If anyone's going to be down that way, let me know. I'm already reaching out to a couple veterans. Uh, I I think I'm going to meet up with the Huffs. Uh, World War II wrecked craft in the swamp about 30 miles from the Naval Air Base about 20 years ago turned out to have gone missing over the Atlantic coast south of Daytona. Um, yeah, so I'll be down that way. I'm reaching out to veterans who I know live that way. I'm going to visit them. I'm also reaching out to a couple that are going to be on the drive back. So it's going to be like a 2 or 3 day drive back. We're going to stop by San Antonio and Austin. If any fans are in that area and want to meet up, we could probably try to do something. Um, yeah, there's some things that we were talking that we're like, no, we want to do this. Um, but Halloween in the French Quarter will be fun. We're trying to figure out what costumes we're going to wear right now. We got some ideas. We have some ideas. I'm just looking at the chat on Georgine Coops. They're still not live. They are still not live. What are they doing? Their show is supposed to be 8 o'clock. It is 8:23. Oh my. I hate being late. I used to not it used to not bother me, but ever since I was in the military, I hate being late. Mm, it because it just feels disrespectful. But that's me. I understand not everyone else. It's just how I feel. Should I take over their show with the soundboard today? I did that the other day. I was having so much fun. Oh, it's apple season? Yeah. Oh, I do miss one thing I'll say, Grand Rapids, Ohio does the Apple Butter Festival. I think it's already passed. I want to say it was last month. I loved going to that. Such a fun time. Um, Hear people go apple picking. I don't want to go apple picking. But take me to a festival and let me get some. I'll tell you my favorite. I like uh, Awesome Dogs, and everyone should subscribe to Three Awesome Dogs channel. I do like all of his videos when they pop up in my feed, and I do try to watch when he goes live. Um, what you do is you get apple brandy, and you put a shot of apple brandy. and, maybe I'll do a vet, um, another vet, thing, and then you get warm apple cider, okay? And you, uh you mix the 2 of them, and it's a good alcoholic drink. It'll keep you warm 'cause you warm up the apple cider and it'll get you warm. But there's a couple other tricks to it, because now you got me thinking, I'm gonna do another vet cocktails. Imma do I'll go do that today. Thank you, 3 awesome dogs. You're helping me out with content this morning. Um, but yeah, I'll go get one of those today, and that'll be good. Um, but yeah, good apple cider, but it's a good tailgating. If you're in the north in the fall and you're gonna be tailgating for the football games, like if your kids has like little league or high school football, yeah, heat up some apple cider, put in a little bit of apple brandy. It'll keep you warm during the game. Um, I used to make that stuff up, and I have a Stanley thermos. I've had it for years, and I'm laughing at everyone like Stanley now. It's like, yeah, they've had good stuff for like I remember we had Stanley thermoses growing up, but everyone now is like, "Oh, I got my Stanley. I got my Stanley. It's so awesome." Oh, technical difficulty, Skipper. Yeah, yeah, it happens. But yeah, apple. It's a shot of apple brandy, and I want to say 6 ounces of um, apple cider, and I normally add some whipped cream and some caramel. Oh, it's so good. But I'll put it in my Stanley and then go to a football game, and you will be warm that whole football game. It'll keep you nice and toasty. The apple cider and E&J apple brandy. Oh yeah, very very good. Um, I highly recommend it. You know what? I might do a campfire tonight. I might do a video of vet cocktails, and maybe I'll do a campfire tonight because we haven't hit daylight savings, and it's getting dark earlier here. Like the sun is setting way before 7. Um, so yeah, I might do something like that. I got people texting me. They're not used to me being live this late. Um, hot cider with cider or pumpkin donuts or hot apple fritters. Um, I always like the powdered sugar with cider. I'm not a like I like pumpkin in some things, but people are going way the hell crazy with pumpkin nowadays. Oh, absolutely with the 100% with cinnamon sticks. Your wife, yeah, she's got it down pat, firefighter. Um, yeah, she's got it down pat. Um, it's funny because I'm not supposed to have my little man this weekend, but I got a message from his mom yesterday. She's like, "Hey, he wants to be at your house this weekend." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's cool." Um, always makes you feel good when your kids want to hang out with you. Okay. Oh no, that's I thought they were starting. Nope, it's a commercial. It's a commercial. Oh, they are starting. Okay, guys. So I am going to go ahead and end this. Thank you guys so much for being there. We're gonna raid. Stick around because we're gonna raid Georgie and Coop. At least if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, you got to go over to either YouTube or onto Rumble. It's on Georgie's channel today. So I'll be over there. You guys can join us all over there. We'll keep the conversation going. Thank you for being here, and as always, thank you for being worth serving.